Good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 Central in Louisiana. Oh, you almost said New Orleans. And today we are so lucky on a Friday, on an inspirational Friday, to have Shannon Cunningham. Actually, I think I should go that way. I don't know. I never know which direction everything's going. But Shannon is here to help us detox a little bit, to help us put together some plans for self-care, because there is no doubt that all of us need it. I was just talking to Shannon before we opened up. I'm exhausted, and I'm not usually exhausted on a Friday. And I think between stress, I'm not a big news consumer, so I don't feel like I'm absorbing too much of, what's been going on. I'm aware of it, but there's something weighing on me. And so I'm just as eager to listen to Shannon today as hopefully everybody else is. So Shannon, the reason why you and I were connecting, and it's been about a year and a half, 2 years now, is that you do a lot of spiritual work with people, as a coach, as sort of a director of some kind. So first, help us understand, where you are in your life with that aspect of your vocation or your avocation, and tell me a little bit about what you do.
So, yeah, I guess my vocation is I don't even know how to describe it. I was raised Catholic, so I still have a lot of Catholic beliefs. But I've come in the last 5 years to have found a lot of inner spiritualness. I go within. I've been doing a lot of meditation practices. I've been doing a lot of law of attraction practices, and a lot of reading, a lot of deep thinking, and not so deep thinking, just kind of, yeah, because I find when you don't think so deep, even more stuff happens.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of that over the past maybe 6 or 7 years now that I'm really thinking about it, and just becoming more aware of who I am, who my divine self is, why I'm here, what I have to offer to this world, and I mainly did it for selfish reasons because I was wanting to be happy. So I just wanted to figure out how to do that without having to rely on other people, other things such as food, drinks, whatever your vice may be.
Right.
I wanted to figure out how to do that with me. So I just began just different things, reading different books. Hey, Myrna, doing different sort of things. I know when I really first started, I for a whole year, I did a gratitude journal, and I would write 5 things I was thankful for that day in that moment. And then I would write 3 things I was thankful for in the future that I was going to have.
Right.
So, I'm thankful for taking this trip to St. Lucia. I'm thankful for having, 20 new trips this month or whatever it may be. I was just forward thinking and planting the seed, manifesting, doing a lot of that. So it's just kind of evolved. And, I rely and I have my faith in God and Jesus. Other people say source and universe. And I think, and I totally respect anybody. And some even people just believe within themselves. So whatever it is that you believe in and have faith in, then good, as long as it keeps you going in the right direction and there's no evil in it, then be happy.
So let's talk first about physical self-care, because you recently started your new walking challenge for yourself. And how does that, tell me about any of the other physical releases that you use to sort of, settle yourself during these crazy times. So you do your walks in the morning. Is it a first thing in the morning? I know you told me earlier, it's 90 degrees now. You must have to get this in before the sun gets too high.
It depends on what time. So this morning I walked at 7, but from 6 to 6:45, I did a personal training workout. I have a personal trainer that I work out with that I've been doing workouts with for 5 years now. So it depends on what time I'm working out with her. If I work out with her and walk before or after her.
So now, are you doing those workouts with her via some kind of Skype or something?
Virtual, yeah. So as part of my Inspired by Shannon and helping new businesses and businesses become engaged with their clients, I helped her all last weekend and week. I set up a virtual, we're doing Zoom workouts.
Right.
So with her personal training workout clients, because she does small groups. So there's 4 or 5 of us on a Zoom, just like we would be in her studio working out together. So we're doing it from our home because she had to shut down her fitness studio. We all went over there and got a step, hand weights, bands, these stupid little sliders. I told her I'm not bringing them back. That was the only reason I was taking them. So you have to do push-ups and slide. So we all want to get equipment. So now from home, we're all working out via Zoom. So I helped her get set up, and she's even doing spin classes and boot camp classes. So yeah, so that was part. So I've been working out with her for about 5 years now, doing strength training mostly, which is very important.
And how do you feel during the daytime if you don't do that? Do you find a noticeable difference?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, because I usually do it Monday through Friday. I usually take off one of those days in the week, but I usually work out 4 to 5 times a week during the week. On the weekends, I'm dragging. Come Sunday afternoon, I'm so dragging and I'm ready. It's like Monday mornings are really hard to get up and hit that workout in the morning. So, but I have to do it first thing in the morning, because if I don't do it in the morning, I will find excuses. Oh, I'm too busy. Well, now it's time for dinner and now I'm too tired. So when I first started with her in the beginning, she had me going at 8:00 and I'm like, oh, that's kind of early. And then the next thing you know, she's like, I need you to come at 7 tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. So now when it's not Corona time, I go at 4:45 or 5:45 in the morning.
Oh my God. So as you connect with other people who are going through this madness right now, do you find that there are people consistently applying physical release, physical regimen? Do you notice in any of your friends, your colleagues, patterns that might indicate, that's, if someone's listening and says, oh, that's me, how can they get onto a ritual?
Yeah. So I have friends, a lot of them in the travel industry, they're just like, I'm stuck at my computer. I can't get off the computer. I keep reading about this. I got to help this client. I just can't get away. And I called one and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm at the computer. I said, are you on hold with somebody changing something? And she wasn't. I said, okay, good. I said, now I want you to do something. She's like, what? I said, I want you to stand up. It's like, okay. I was like, now walk away from your desk. And she's like, what? I said, walk away. I mean, that's literally what we have to do. You have to close the Facebook tabs, close the email. And that's why I do it first thing in the morning. I stop checking my emails the minute I wake up. I don't check Facebook the minute I wake up. I'll go to my messenger because I have 2 accountability partners that I say, I'm up, headed out for my walk, going to train. And that's it. That's the only technology I use first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But we're so accustomed to doing that. And so I just have to and I see people, they just get so caught up and they think they don't have time. Well, right now we have all the time in the world. Our clients are understanding it's going to take forever to get through and get these changes done. So just stop. Go break it up into 10-minute increments if you have to. I've done that plenty of times. I'll do a 10-minute walk and then I come back, do some work. Okay, I'm just going to go for 10 minutes. And then I'll stop, go for 10 minutes. And a lot of times after the first 10 minutes, you're like, okay, I can go 10 more. All right, let me go 10 more. And before you realize it, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like you, I'm a morning person. I've got to get that first walk in as soon as possible because, I grew up in a family. We owned a lumber yard, and for the contractors, when I was old enough to drive myself to work, we opened at 7:30. So I would have to leave where we lived. And if I wanted to be able to grab breakfast and a cup of coffee and get to work on time, I had to leave at 6:30, which meant getting up at 5:45, and maybe, you know, my mom would have a cup of coffee on at 6 o'clock. So I'm an early riser, and I'm a let's get it done in the morning kind of person. The problem for me is sometimes I apply that mornings to work and I don't get outside.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for somebody like me who, you know, right now it's a little bit stressful, trying to make a lot of people happy, trying to network enough so that I'm increasing sales leads to coming into my sales funnel? What would you say to me to say, no, Richard, you know, how do you analyze your habits so that you're making that time for yourself? And another question is, do you think my not making time for myself is psychological? Am I not thinking I'm worth self-care? And I don't mean for you to be my therapist.
No, no. And so I read a quote the other day that said, how can give them the best of you and not the rest of you? And so when we're working and working and working, that's not our best. We're not at our best. We've got tabs open on our computers. We've got tabs open in our brains. We've got things going on in our phone, text messages. So you cannot be your best self if you're going to keep working that way. So you're not going to be of service to these leads and to these, opportunities. You may not even notice it because you've got so much going on up here. So I've noticed that if you just give yourself permission to take care of you, put your oxygen mask on first,
right?
Start off with 30 minutes a day of some sort of self-care.
Right.
Or like I said, if it's easy for you to do 10 minutes here, do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes in the evening of just you. I mean, my 30, 45-minute workout that started 5 or 6 years ago now goes into 2 hours of self-care in the morning.
Ooh.
Because I'll work out for an hour, I meditate for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I enjoy a nice leisure breakfast by myself, just chilling or sitting in my backyard drinking coffee by my Mary statue or whatever I want. 2 hours almost every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel guilty about it one bit. And I feel peaceful and calm when I start my day. And it's very refreshing.
So right now I am on day 5 of Oprah and Deepak's meditation experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think they designed it specifically for COVID-19. And we're on day 5 and I've done 3 of the 5.
That's good.
It's supposed to be my first thing in the morning thing. And I still can't make the commitment.
I know. And those types of meditations, I think you have to find your own type of meditation. I can do the guided ones sometimes, or sometimes I meditate while I'm walking. Sometimes I just sit, like I said, I sit outside looking out at my pond and meditate that way, just watching the water. Meditation is not always no. It's, and I can't remember who had told me, it's just clearing your mind.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as that. And somebody had said, if you're outside meditating, look at the leaves on a bush or look at the leaves in a tree and look at the space in between the leaves. Try to focus on those little things.
Right.
Find something outside or even something inside that you can watch the ceiling fan turn in circles, that you can completely clear your mind with.
And I definitely think that my meditations are stronger when I walk. And I don't close my eyes when I do that, obviously. So where I live, I am on a fairly busy road behind me to the west. And then there's 4 roads that kind of intersect in this little subdivision. There's an old section of the subdivision, and then there's the nice new section down at the bottom, which is like, 3,000 square foot homes. And when I'm walking, well, first of all, nobody's driving through the neighborhood unless they live there, and everybody pretty much drives slow. So I feel very much safe. And if sometimes I will put on my earbuds and I'll listen to a guided meditation while I'm walking. But yesterday was so warm and sunny, and neighbors who I never see were out yesterday. I've,
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here 3 years, and there were people I saw yesterday. There must have been a dozen people I've never seen outside of their house. And I can't understand why I would never have seen them before, because I walk weekends, I walk different times of the day, summer, winter. But anyway, as I was coming around one of the blocks, there was this really pretty mini golden doodle in its yard. And I normally don't go up that cul-de-sac, but for some reason I wanted to see that puppy. And as I walked up, the dog grabbed the ball he wanted me to throw the ball. And I'm thinking COVID-19. I'm not touching the ball, even though the dog can't transmit it. I'm figuring, what if somebody else grabs the ball? And so I'm really, really, then the dog drops the ball into the yard next door. And I'm like, there's nobody here. The dog's all by himself.
Aw.
So I walked over and I kicked the ball back into the yard. The dog shot off to go get it. And now it's bringing it back to me to play. And I could just feel the weight from the day, because this was like 5:30. I could feel the weight of the day releasing.
Yeah.
Because of a dog.
I know. And we have to do those sorts of things, and not just at this time, not just during the Corona time. We have to do that on a regular basis. We were meant to experience joy. We're not put on this earth to be heavy and to be stressful. And,
No.
It's okay to laugh, and it's okay to feel good. It's okay to be good and enjoy life and enjoy playing with the dog in the neighborhood or whatever it may be. Whenever I do my walks and I hear a dog in the neighborhood barking, at the house I'm passing, I'm like, oh, good morning. How are you today? I chat with him. I'm sure somebody hears me. I hear a bird singing overhead. I'm like, oh, good morning to you too.
Yes.
They're talking to me.
And you're right. It's like you're focusing on something else. You're focusing on something that's not it's not sort of, I don't want to use the word pedestrian, but it's somehow removed from allowing you to think about, if I was to see a person who was, shrinking their shoulders or something, I probably would absorb, their emotions or something. But a dog, especially a dog that's happy, there's something that just like it pulls the weight just off your shoulders. My son worked with a fellow who lived on the corner here during the summertime, my 20-year-old, and he's got this 100-pound Labrador, or it might be a golden retriever. And is that right? Golden retriever? No, it's got to be a lab, because a golden retriever's got different coloring. But this dog, when I first met it, I thought it was angry because it has a really deep growl. And, the other day, I just walked over to the fence and I just put my hand, and he was kissing on me like nobody's business. And again, the tension just disappeared. This big creature who just wanted me to interact with it and to connect with it. And it's just, anybody who's listening, please, I know we're supposed to be physical distancing, and I don't know what the restrictions are in your part of the woods. In New York, where I live, you are allowed to go for walks as many times as you want. My friend in Italy, Jessica, she says Italy now says that you cannot go more than 0.2 of a mile from your home. You're allowed to walk your animal like once a day. And so Italy really was clamping down to get their new cases and their deaths down. And I don't know if I could survive in that kind of environment where I couldn't go out and do what I'm going to be doing at 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight. Do you have any advice for people that if this does get more intense and they can't go for a walk and they can't go see the birds and maybe pet a strange dog, and they don't have a pet in the house, what do you think is a good de-stressor for someone who, if things get worse and we're really locked into our homes?
Dance. Put on some music and dance. If you're that type of person, I've got my music on in the other room. I just put on Pandora and I put in happy radio, and it plays upbeat music. And so all the songs are good and fun to dance to. But if you're not a dancer, I call myself a dancer. That doesn't mean I'm going to be on Broadway or anything like that.
Neither will I.
answer. Just make sure, like, try to keep things separate. I mean, most travel professionals work from home, so we're kind of used to working from home, but I keep my work in separate. I don't bring my work. It's not in the living room. It's not at the kitchen table. It's in an office. And so I go and come to work just like I would leaving to drive to an office. And, once I'm done, I shut the computer down and go away. So keep your compartmentalized of your life. Keep your office with your office stuff and keep your personal life in the other parts of your house. But find a sacred spot. And when I say sacred spot, something that's where you can retreat to. If it's the tub, lock the door, turn the music up, tell the kids, I'm not feeling well. I mean, if you have kids, tell your husband, I need 20 minutes. I need a timeout. And find that sacred spot where you can go and retreat. If you can step outside just to get some fresh air, do that.
Yeah. And I don't think that's going to be prohibited. I mean, if not knowing where people live, if you live in a city and you're in an apartment building and getting outside is literally standing on the sidewalk, maybe not, but I live on a small piece of property, and at the very least, nobody's going to stop me from standing in my driveway. Yeah. Right.
But I mean, even if you have to go sit in your car and turn up the radio for 10 minutes to be by yourself and just kind of regroup, do that. I mean, I'll catch myself. I'll do my morning rituals, but as the day goes on, things happen. People get on your nerves. And, one evening Rich was cooking dinner and I just had, I don't know, somebody triggered me. And I said,
somebody triggered you?
They did. They did. I said, I got to go for a walk or I got to have a lot to drink. Either one of those. I chose the walk and I just went and walked for 15 minutes and I came back home and he's like, you okay? I said, I'm good now. Good to go. And just walking and breathing. Oh my God, breathing is so big. I mean, just becoming aware of your breath, taking deep breaths in and exhaling, like really filling your lungs up with this air that we get to breathe and exhaling all the tension inside. So, I mean, if you can just breathe for 4 or 5 seconds and focus on your breath, that makes a huge difference right there. And I really didn't realize. I used to have people tell me, okay, just breathe. I'm like, whatever, I am breathing. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't breathing. But now that I realize with a lot of energy work and spiritual practice, how much and how important breathing and breathing techniques play in relaxing and finding that peace.
I hit my low in December of 2016. And I found a meditation practice totally by accident. And the woman who was teaching the practice teaches these very deep breaths, and she teaches you how to visualize color in your body through your chakras. Mm-hmm. And when I practiced and could learn how to just concentrate on my breath, get the monkey mind down, mm-hmm. I could literally feel the energy in my body. I've got to get back to it somehow. I've got to start that ritual up again. And that's why I personally love 30-day challenges, mm-hmm. because by the 5th or 6th day, it's starting to become a habit. And especially if I'm held accountable by other people on the next day to try to post something, I want, that reward of I did my, chakra clearing or whatever, and I did my deep breathing exercises, and it was amazing because it was strange. We did the first 30 days. The first time I ever did this was January of 2017, and nothing was really happening, and I was kind of like, this is a bunch of garbage. And then like the 4th week, I felt something different was starting to happen, but it still was not provocative or profound. And as we hit the last day of January, the host invited all of us to keep going if we wanted to. And I put up my hand digitally and said, hey, if anybody's going to keep going, I'm going to, and I'll be posting every day, what my experiences were. By the 3rd week of February, I could literally feel energy transferring between my fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
I could see, images and light underneath my eyelids that just wasn't there in January. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to feel this like energy in my body. And I kid you not, the end of February that year, I got a phone call from the University of Pennsylvania Medicine School, asking me. A friend of mine was working there, and she said, "Rich, I need you on a major project. It's worth about $8,000. Please tell me that you're free." And if there's any truth to law of attraction and manifesting and focusing on the energy in our bodies, I was at the lowest of my lows. And that ritual and that habit just brought me such abundance.
Right.
Have you ever had experiences like that with your meditation practice?
Yeah, several. I mean, it happens all the time.
It doesn't happen all the time for me, so maybe I need to learn from you.
Well, I mean, you got to start small. I mean, you can't start, okay, I'm going to manifest $8,000 right now. And you have to be open to it happening in ways that you're not thinking about it happening.
Yeah.
And it might be really uncomfortable ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that was definitely one of the teachings of this particular practitioner is, she would say, do not be specific. So, say that I want to, I'm open to more abundance in my life. I'm open to stepping beyond my self-limiting beliefs. I'm open to, living in a place of, fulfillment as a professional, fulfillment in my bank account. But don't sit there and go, I want to win the lottery this Friday night.
Right, exactly. And so that's where you have to kind of tweak it a little bit. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And it's not something, over these past 6 years, it's not day in and day out that I've been doing this. It has its ebbs and flows.
Yes. And right now I'm in an ebb and I needed to get back up. So, personal question. Do you have a vision board?
I do not. I did not do one this year. This is the first year I haven't done one in 4 years. January kind of got away from me, and then I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day because a friend and I were talking about. We used to do vision board workshops together here in the Baton Rouge area.
That's when I first learned about this part of it.
And so this is the first year I don't have a vision board. So I guess I need to get one together. I need to get one together and see what my vision is for this year and next.
Now, you have some other rituals that I just adore. And I don't know if this happens all week or if it's only on Fridays and Saturdays. But you and Rich, your partner, you guys make a purpose out of dinner time. And Rich expresses part of himself through his cooking skills. Do you find that to be a de-stressor kind of thing? Not just that he cooks very well, but the activity around Rich,
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit.
That, he cooks. He says that's his therapy, which is fine with me. But we eat dinner together every night, unless one of us has a function outside of the house for work or something. But we eat dinner, and we were talking about this last night because Logan's home now. My son's home now from school. And so all three of us sat and ate dinner together. And that's how it always is and always has been. We were not one of those families where he came in and ate dinner whenever he wanted in his room and I ate dinner, whatever. We always eat together. Now, we may not cook together during the week. He's usually cooking. And I'm finishing up work, or I'm cooking and then he's on his way home from work. And we don't cook every night. We do eat leftovers. So like last night he grilled some chicken. So there's leftover chicken. So he's already planning for Monday or Tuesday night to have chicken flatbread pizzas. So we're not going to eat it the same way. He's going to be a little bit more creative, and we may have it as tacos or pizza or something like that.
That's great though.
Yeah, it is good. It's definitely good. On the weekends, we that's when we have the music playing. We usually have Michael Bublé on or some Eagles or, just some fun music. And we have our wine open and he's cooking and chopping and I may help chop. But that's when he likes to do his more extravagant dishes, I guess. And we do have a cookbook called Kissing and Cooking in the Kitchen with Rich and Shan, 8 sizzling recipes to keep it spicy after the honeymoon.
That's your cookbook.
Yes, and it's his recipes. So it's really cool. I have to get the domain back working. I noticed it was down the other day, but it's a free download. So if anybody wants a copy of it, send me a message and I'll be happy to get it to you. I can't have a copy of it yet. So it's only 8 recipes, and we keep saying we're going to add to it. He's like, oh, we need to add this to the cookbook. So maybe during this time, we'll come up with some new recipes and make it a full-fledged cookbook. I'm trying to talk him into doing a Facebook Live one night while he's cooking. It's not rated PG or PG-13. So I don't know. I'll let him have a couple glasses of wine and then I'll start the Facebook Live of him cooking.
I'll tell you, cooking is definitely a therapy for me. I have a Bose box on the baker's rack with Spotify hooked into it. And yes, opening a bottle of wine and getting the ingredients out and going through that ritual of preparing the ingredients and smelling the aromas when it's cooking, especially when I cook Italian. There's nothing like olive oil and garlic. There's just nothing.
Oh, I know.
And that is a therapy for me, and that is a de-stressor. And I notice when I don't cook, I don't feel as good.
Mm-hmm.
Even though cooking also means scrubbing the pans, and if I use the grill in the oven, I gotta scrape that thing down. But it's still, there's something about a bottle of wine, and, a couple of knives and a cutting board.
Yeah, and he's funny because he's not on Facebook, but he knows I'll post pictures on Facebook, and he's like, "Well, put this on Facebook, and we'll call it this," and he spits off this nice fancy name for the meal, and he's like, did anybody say anything?
Yeah. I thought so. I didn't think he was so on social media.
No, he's not. He can sign into mine if he wants to, but he's not allowed to make comments. He's not as quiet. He might say things we don't want said on Facebook.
Well, you know that at some point I'm going to be. So they moved TravelCon from May, obviously. They moved it to September.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Did, and I am definitely optimistic that I'll be coming. If they still want me to come and speak, I'll be down there. And I promise you, I'm going to book airfare so that if it's on, I think it's on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday kind of thing. I promise you, I'm coming on Friday to your house. So
all right, deal. That will be fun.
To wrap it up, any advice to people here who just, they're hearing us talk, but maybe it's not penetrating, and maybe they're still in a place where they're going, that sounds good and fine. Exercising, yeah, that makes sense. Trying to find quiet time, yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Trying to be grateful for things like just simply being able to cook. But sometimes people really struggle with, and I'll tell you, I was situationally depressed at one point in my life, and I get that. And I am empathetic to anybody who says, this all sounds good, but how do I do it? Have you ever been in a place where you found a way to work past paralysis of being happy? Have you ever had, and did you learn anything from that you might be able to share with everybody? So
I've lost 46 pounds in the past year. Almost off cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure is normal again. I'm not as down. I mean, I don't know if I was, I don't think I was clinically depressed, but I had a lot of depressing moments. And I've had a lot of things happen to me personally over the past 10, 15 years. I've gone through bankruptcy, foreclosure, closing businesses, just different things like that. Death of parents. I mean, it's just, it's loss, it's grievances, and it could have been worse. But it was for me. It was things that drug me down, literally. And I was not a morning person. I hated to exercise. I was not eating healthy. I would drink a 12-pack of Diet Coke a day. Canned Diet Coke. Just now I don't even drink sodas. I drink water, like a gallon of water a day, literally. So I was one of those people that would say, yeah, whatever. You say that, you say do that, whatever. I'm not a morning person. I don't like to exercise. So really sitting here thinking about it at this moment, to where the person I once was and how I am now, what got me through it is accountability partners, but also not putting so much pressure on myself to say, I didn't wake up one day and said, I'm going to lose 46 pounds and I'm going to exercise every morning and blah, 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 blah. I didn't do that. I just took it literally one day at a time. And you will have setbacks. You will, and that's okay. But you'll keep going, and you just keep going. You'll get into those lows and allow yourself to feel those moments. Allow yourself to cry the tears, feel the sadness. Just don't stay there. Keep moving through it, and that's how you get to it. That's how you just little by little, day by day, minute by minute, allow yourself to take care of you. What really made me want to be more health conscious was the year my son was graduating high school. My parents couldn't come to his graduation because they physically could not climb up the stairs at the stadium. And I said to myself, I'll be damned if I have a grandchild and I can't go to his graduation. I'm going to stop it right now. I'm going to change this genetic tree that they've instilled, that they were passing down. I said, I'm stopping it right now. They both had heart diseases, diabetes, on all kinds of medication. And all I had to do was look at them to see my future, because that was the path I was headed on. Mm-hmm. So it started off doing it for him, for my son, and for his future grandchildren. Well, my future grandchildren, his future children. But then I started realizing, no, this is about me, and it's okay to be about me. Yeah. And because it's about me now, I am a better person I'm a better mom, I'm a better spouse, I'm a better worker, I'm a better colleague, I'm a better friend, because now I'm a better me. And I did it selfishly, and it's okay to be selfish. Selfish is good.
Yeah. That is probably one of my biggest struggles, is one of 10 children, and we were all raised to give to the rest, to sacrifice, because if it was so-and-so's turn to go to college, then you couldn't get something from mom and dad because they needed extra money, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's one of the biggest things I struggle with is being, I deserve this. I deserve whatever it is. And I'm not a big materialistic person, so it's usually about time. I deserve time for me. And
you do?
I've gotten very protective of that over time.
Yeah.
Shannon, I cannot wait to get down to Louisiana to see you and Rich. Until then, and of course, we'll bump into each other over the next few months online. Thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for inspiring me on my walks every morning. You personally were the person who got me back to committing to
awesome. That makes me so happy.
I appreciate it. So everybody else, we're going to head out here on Friday. We'll be back next week with Carmen Perez. Carmen talks about how to get through tough times. And we're just going to keep rolling every Friday. So take a deep breath, everybody. Bye.
Bye.